Hello and welcome to the Illuminating Crossroads community. My name is Lisette, and today we're going to be doing a reading for the new moon in Scorpio for water signs. So this is for you if you're a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, rising, sun, or moon. Your choice, or if you've just been connecting with the water elemental, you can feel free to tune into this reading. So we're gonna start off with just looking at what energy of renewal is a new moon bringing in for you. So feel free to grab a notebook or journal and jot down any notes so you can add to your new moon ritual or practices or intentions. So what energy of renewal is the new moon bringing in for you? And I'm taking really deep breaths right now. So just to start off, maybe if that's something that would be supportive to you, to connect with your breath, to really bring more presence into the body. Especially if you're feeling emotional, or how do I want to say, not just emotional, but kind of like swept away within the emotional body. Like if you're having a lot of thoughts that are coming to mind, especially, perfect, we have full moon in Virgo here, so you are good enough. So that I was just really feeling like it's almost like being like within the mind and getting overwhelmed of like almost like you're just trying to be above water and almost like floating, but it's like you're kind of struggling a little bit. So the energy of renewal with this new moon is knowing that like you can find more trust, you can surrender, and you can allow yourself to almost like float within the water. So thinking of like the Dead Sea, all the salt that's within the water, and salt being very purifying and cleansing in its own essence as well. So really utilizing the energy of renewal during this new moon in Scorpio to remind you that you don't have to try so hard, which I feel like that's kind of like a collective theme, because there is an invitation, especially I'm feeling with you, water signs, to understand like how to honor your emotional body more and honor how you want to assert yourself within your life. So Virgo is very much an essence of the maiden, so thinking of your like inner innocence. So this new moon is inviting remembrance towards your purity, your essence of innocence as a divine being, as a being of light, even though yes, you are within this physical form. Okay, so we also have here believe in the impossible, blue moon, and a personal issue reaches resolution. So blue moons are, I think there's like two different ways people look at it, but I normally think the second full moon in a month is a blue moon if there happens to be two full moons. But I know sometimes the second full moon in a sign, if it has already occurred, can be a blue moon. So regardless, there is this like it doesn't occur every single month. Like we don't have two full moons in 1 month. Generally there's a new moon and a full moon. Or even thinking of like having full moons in a sign more than once is also pretty rare, especially because we've just been having so many like beautifully aligned astrological events that are really supporting us with like finding almost like these hidden doors or hidden passages, because I'm like seeing a key So allowing yourself to really know that anything at this time is possible if you work with this energy of renewal, because when you invite yourself to move from a place that is pure, is cleansed, is purified, there's nothing but flow that can really take place, because there's no stagnancy. So really honoring whatever does arise emotionally, especially here we have full moon in Cancer, so really thinking about like instincts, behaviors, habits, how we find nourishment, and also thinking of the initiating force of Cancer as a water sign. So that initiating force has movement. So, but with this being a Scorpio new moon, Scorpio is very much a fixed water sign. So we can think of like ice, or like icebergs in the middle of the ocean. But what does it mean to like sometimes we will have parts of us that take longer to thaw out, especially depending on what we've experienced, either like physically, mentally, or emotionally. But how can you honor that you can still hold those parts and allow for flow, so that those can continue to heal, to transform, and there can be like resolve within what you're experiencing. So you don't have to like almost like, I'm thinking of like, you don't have to like isolate so heavily to find clarity. Like, what does it mean to like be with others, be within community, and allow yourself to like move through experiences so that you can have greater awareness towards your own emotional intelligence for how you're connecting with others and existing. All right, so next, we're just going to pull a few cards from the Astrology Oracle deck to see if there's any additional energies that want to come through that are supporting with renewal at this time of the new moon in Scorpio. I'm also looking at all the trees in this card, so that is making me think, like, at the time of this new moon in Scorpio, if you feel like it would be supportive to take time for solitude, to honor that, but to know that, like, how do I want to say, to not be in a pattern of feeling like you always have to be in solitude to have illumination, because all of these are full moon energies, and I am aware this is a new moon that we're speaking of, but within full moons there's awareness of like the light is shining on what needs to pivot and change. So it might be supportive to think back towards the full moon in Scorpio that we had in May, if I'm not mistaken, and to think of what was brought to the surface then, and how have you allowed yourself to adapt, to change, and what are you ready to put more intention towards cultivating within your life now. So especially because this new moon is creating a trine to Saturn in Pisces, so there's this support, especially because Saturn will be stationing direct at the middle of this month, if I'm not mistaken, middle of November, if you happen to be watching this when it posts. Yeah, so allowing for structure with ease, and an overall theme for us all, continuing to work on boundaries. So, all right, so we have a couple cards here. So we have opposition, sextile, and we have Chiron. Okay, So here, opposition says imbalance, a point of tension, and a power struggle. Sextile says a combination of tension and flow, potential, and a rewarding situation. And Chiron is hurt and heal. So I think at the time I'm recording this, Chiron is still retrograde for us, and it's in Aries. So we're really coming toward, like, I'm almost seeing this like scraping. And like thinking of like a pan, probably a weird analogy, but a pan where there's just been like so much grime and just caked on stuff, debris. I don't know, would I say debris? But like from cooking, and it's almost like things just need to be scraped. So how can there be like friction for allowing those parts to be expressed? So what, and of course whatever way that means to you. So seeing like if you are in any type of power struggle, specifically an example for like work is kind of coming up. So if there is like a disagreement with a boss, or you're working, how do I want to say it? Like you're working towards trying to share something, but then there's like this dynamic of like, well, they're not listening because they're the boss, or in whatever type of situation this could be for you. Like, how can you invite yourself to honor, like, as long as you are trying to communicate your feelings and your thoughts from a grounded and rooted place, that is all that you have to do. Like knowing that you don't have to try to overexert yourself at this time, because at this time there is a call for this softness, but within connection with those whom really nurture you. And who also like really love you and care for you. And just knowing like if you are having some of these past conflicts come up, that are wanting to be healed, really also seeking support. So I'm thinking of like, if you have a friend or family member to talk to, but maybe like actually working with someone as a support. So if you do therapy, or if you have like an energy healer or person that you work with, and really also thinking of belief structures too. So because it does say believe in the impossible, and it's, which I feel like I've said this in a couple other like video recordings, but it just like keeps coming up of like emphasizing like what oh my gosh, I think every time I get it mixed up a little bit, but where our attention goes, energy flows. So it's really key at the time of this new moon, because Scorpio is really about regeneration. So you've already been dismantling parts within this house of Scorpio, right? It's very cyclical in its own right, and all of our life is cyclical. So there's no greater point of remembrance than working with Scorpio's energy to really honor that this is a new, like, this is fertile ground. The canvas is blank. And what is it that you really want to honor the life of, the life cycle of? And of course, everything has its ups and its downs. But right now, even those like points of friction or tension can be so supportive, because it's like the snake shedding its skin, right? Like it needs friction to be created to help remove that old skin. So that is an essence of what is coming through right now for you. Okay, so we're gonna see what old habits and patterns are you ready to transform. So we're gonna pull from the archetype oracle deck for this one. And we also are in the pre-shadow period for Mars retrograde, which will be speaking towards Leo and Cancer. So it's really important to really pay attention to that energy of like your passion, your desire, your drive, and that like how you are asserting yourself, which I believe we kind of spoke on before. All right, so first we have Priest, light attributes, facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. And then shadow attributes, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. And then we have here slave, light attribute, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. And then shadow attribute, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choice. So this is actually making me think, there's this book, I think it's called, I'll probably put it in the description box or put the title in the video, so if you want to read it, if you feel called to, you can. But I think it's like the wisdom from like the Council of Light or something along those lines. And that's coming to mind because in that book it talks about like when we are aligned with our soul, we like we don't have to make a choice. And although we do still have free will, of course, so we can always choose what we want. But when we become so aligned, things become choiceless because there's no questioning of what we want to do. There's a knowing. So at the time of this new moon, especially since Priest came out here, this is very key, especially if you do anything in regards to like working more intimately with the divine, or if you do any like facilitating like spiritual like communities or hosting circles or doing readings, offering services, giving energy healing sessions or what have you, of really being one with an integrity and honoring your uniqueness as you serve as a channel of spiritual energy. And also staying devoted and committed towards that relationship which you're continuously cultivating with the divine. So also being sure to honor what it is that you know, where you're at, and to know that that is more than enough. And of course, as you continue to grow and evolve, you'll know more, you can share more, but honor where you're at and know that that is more than okay. So really just being within your truth and your authenticity, within your role, within community. So if that is something that maybe you haven't been really honoring or upholding or even staying committed to your devotional practices, how can you invite yourself to choose, to make the choice, but to choose with ease because it is that choiceless essence. So not being so... I kind of want to say like not being so codependent on others. That is a big thing that's also coming through, and not giving your power away to other because you're fearful of making the wrong choice. But at the end of the day, in regards to these old habits and patterns, like only you know what serves you best. And if you're not sure what to do, how to move, really giving trust into the divine to allow the answer to come to you with clarity. But it requires patience and knowing that the answer will come in the right time. And until it does come, how can you invite yourself to move within new habits and patterns that are adding to your vitality, that are allowing you to feel more joy and like not feeding fear or stress or shame or guilt or any of those heavier, denser experiences or emotions. And then, I looked at the back of the deck, and here we have Liberator. So it says light attributes, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns, and then shadow attributes, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. So this, again, is, to me, showing that, like, within your habits and patterns and finding transformation, how can you honor old belief structures and know, like, if it's not working anymore, it's just not working, and then that's okay. What can you do differently, even if it's one thing, a little thing each day, and allowing that to build, so you're not continuously feeding the mind within these negative thought forms. Negative being that it's restricting you and you're not finding freedom. And also knowing, though, in you changing and freeing yourself from these outmoded beliefs and releasing these negative thought patterns, you still have to create spaciousness for others that are still moving through that in their own timing. So we all evolve at our own pace. So just remembering that sometimes there are certain constraints on others that may not be on you. So just knowing that there's space for everyone, and really kind of like more so like allowing yourself to focus on you at this time of the new moon in Scorpio, so that you can cultivate more foundational structure, really thinking of within your emotional body and your mental body, if you will, so that there can be more flow and ease, and then you can actually just inspire others. So knowing that you're not here, like we are not here, no one is here to fix someone else. We are here to each have our own individual experience. We can share our stories, we can give advice, we can do whatever it is, but each of us are sovereign beings. So really honoring that within each person as well as within yourself. All right, so next we're going to just pull a couple animal spirit cards to see if there's any supportive animal spirit guides that you can work with for this new moon in Scorpio. And if you do have like a lot of trees by you, maybe you want to hang out with the tree spirits, that might be supportive to you. Doing cleansing baths might be supportive as well. So like salt baths. And then, all right, so here we have 33 horse spirit, freedom is yours. And then 65 well spirit, trust the great mystery. Yeah. I feel like those are pretty straightforward, but just definitely like honoring like what brings you more freedom, and how can you like trust and know that you're deserving of more freedom within your life, of whatever that looks like, feels like, and means to you. To you. I don't know why I felt called to say that multiple times, but, and then whale spirit is like really trusting the mystery of life, knowing that like no one knows everything, and you know, it's really about like, it's the co-creative process. You're creating, but there's also this divine force of which is supporting you as you move forward. So just allowing yourself to kind of surrender like back into that trust within the divine, and also trusting that whatever you're choosing for yourself is best because you know you best. So having more faith, and maybe even building up a deeper relationship with respecting yourself and trusting yourself more. Okay, and then we have fluorite, learning, and pink tourmaline. So here fluorite is a really good card for a card crystal. It's a card though, but anyways, is a really good crystal for your third eye or intuitive eye, your mental body, really. So thinking of if you're learning or studying, especially with this priest card, so if you have like spiritual practices or things that you're learning, might be supportive to call on the crystal deva of fluorite, or if you have these crystals, you can work with them, but of course, no, you can just call on their energy, their essence, or you can work with these colors. So then we have here pink tourmaline, forgiveness. So really working on the higher heart energy center and just the heart energy center. So allowing yourself really feels like self-forgiveness, and to know like what has happened, what choices were made, everything was done in the best way of which you knew how, and now it's time to move forward. It's time to move forward, to allow for healing, and to really let those old wounds to be held within like the sacred waters, to be cleansed and renewed. And then lastly, we're just going to get a closing message from the magical herbal oracle deck, I think it is. Yeah. So sorry, I'm going a little bit faster because I'm like the camera is about to cut out. So all right. So here we have communication, St. John's Wort. And then we have freedom, yet again, mugwort. So these two herbal cards coming out, one for communication, I think that kind of like pulls us back to the first card. Ooh, excuse me. That pulls us back to the first card with the you're enough, full moon in Virgo. So just allowing yourself to communicate with clarity. And St. John's Wort is very much a solar herb. So really thinking of the sun. So at this time, if you're feeling lacking within like clarity or boundaries or confidence, courage, bravery, what have you, really maybe taking some time to sit within the sun, to soak up the sun rays, and to allow that light to be cleansing and purifying. So it might actually be supportive to kind of tap into some fire signs energy type deal, fire elemental, even though I know you are a water sign, but to kind of just like to heat up your internal waters so that anything that's no longer serving you can just be evaporated, sent back to source type deal. And then we have freedom again, and mugwort is a really good herb for dream work. So if you do work with your dreams at this time, you can utilize that dream space to move through maybe some of those heavier levels of healing to support you. But yeah, I think that is all I'm seeing for this reading. So thank you so much if you stayed until the end. I will go ahead and seal this reading with divine love, light, and wisdom. We are complete. So if you like the video or you have any comments, I'd love to read them down below. If you like the video and you want to like the video, I'd appreciate it. And if you want to join the Illuminating Crossroads community, feel free to subscribe. So with all that being said, I hope that you have a beautiful new moon in Scorpio. And of course, if you're ever desiring some additional support along your journey, all the information is down below for services I offer. And I hope you have a lovely new moon. And until next time, bye!